I was sleeping on September the 11th, 2001, and my mother came in, and I think her words were, "They have attacked us." I think I remember it just woke me straight up. I didn't know what she was talking about. Just said, either she said, "They have attacked us," and she didn't know who they were, she just said they, or that we've been attacked. But she was quite sure whatever had happened was not an accident, that it was an attack. I just remember I was dead asleep, woke up, went downstairs, turned on the TV, and I saw the World Trade Center in New York, the first building that got hit, smoking, huge crater in it. I didn't know what had happened. The news commentary was talking about a plane hitting it. At the time I thought it was some freak accident. And then while I was watching, I guess, the timeline, I guess it was 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. You can see it on the timeline in Wikipedia or whatever. As I was watching it live, the second plane hit right before my eyes, and I realized that it was no accident. It was almost so unbelievable, I thought it was a movie. I just remember just being in complete and utter shock and couldn't believe that it was actually happening. I had a strong feeling that it was Islamic fundamentalists, just because, well, growing up in the 80s, I'd been fed that Hollywood propaganda that the terrorists of today were Islamic, and it turns out I was correct on that, as everyone was, I guess. But, September 2001 was actually when I was planning on going to Japan. I had been working for the last several months, temporary jobs in factories and offices, to raise up enough money to go to Japan and teach English there for a while. And September was supposed to be the month I was going to do all my arrangements, and actually I was planning on leaving towards the end of September. Then 9/11 happened, I just was in a state of shock and confusion, and I didn't go anywhere for the next couple of months because I didn't know what was going to happen. And partly, I was waiting on a phone call from the Army, because at that time I was in the IRR, inactive ready reserve, for the Army Reserves, and I thought maybe they would call up my unit and then want me to go serve with them in, at this time, Afghanistan. So I waited for about 3 months for a phone call telling me, report to active duty. It never happened. And finally, in December, I finally just up and bought a ticket to Japan and came over. I think it was December 14th, 2001, with half the money I had originally saved to come over here. So I spent the next 8 months struggling to get by until I finally got a full-time permanent job. But yeah, going back to 9/11, the most dramatic thing I witnessed that day had to been the footage that I've never seen again, and I hope I never do again, of people jumping from the building. It was just, I don't know why, when I saw the buildings getting hit, it didn't affect me so much because it was just buildings getting hurt. You could kind of disassociate yourself from, the fact that there were people inside those buildings, offices, that were, obviously killed when those planes impacted the building, but they died instantly, probably never even knowing what happened to them. But sometime before the buildings collapsed, which I guess was about maybe 30, 40 minutes after the second plane hit, as the camera crews were focusing on the building, seeing what was going on, they started seeing these silhouettes falling down the side of the building, and they realized it was people that were jumping from the top of the building, I guess because the heat was so extreme from the jet fuel that there was no way that these people, I guess, could make it down the stairs to safety, and they realized the heat was so intense, the smoke was so intense, that they were going to die anyway, and so they decided to end their suffering quickly by jumping. And the live camera crews at the time caught that footage of the people jumping to their deaths, and I just remember that really traumatized me. I don't actually remember the actual footage. I think I've blocked it from my mind. I just kind of have a vague memory of it, but I never went to see that footage again. It just bothered me a lot, because I think like those people went to work that morning, just sitting there drinking their morning coffee, talking about the weekend events and so on, and then less than an hour later they're on top of a building making that decision to end their life as painlessly as they thought they could. And what got me was that a number of them were holding hands when they jumped. I can only imagine like the conversations that they had with each other when they decided to do that. It's something I hope most people never go through in their life. I mean, forget all this stuff about America had it coming, and America brought it on itself. I mean, these were just regular people, office workers, who were just going in for a regular day at work, and then before the lunch hour, they were deciding that decision to end their life by jumping off that building. After that, I went to a travel site that I often frequent, and I was rather shocked by the number of this travel site has a forum. I was rather shocked by the number of "you had it coming" posts by what I call hypocritical humanitarians, listing every wrong that America's done in 200 years and saying how, this was inevitable, chickens coming home to roost and all this crap. And normally I'm not the most typical patriotic American, but that just, within an hour of the attack, these jackasses felt the need to post on this travel site, a travel site where at that time many people were posting to find out, if friends of theirs in New York were safe and were worried about them. And then these jackasses were posting, you had it coming, this was inevitable, just completely and utterly tactless. And so for the next, couple of months, I spent so much time on that site, working through my own grief and anger and confusion of the whole 9/11 event, just basically fighting these people, these, as I call them, hypocritical humanitarians who were taking delight in the misery that 9/11 had created for thousands of family members and friends and so on who had lost loved ones in that attack. These people that made these posts, claimed to be so staunch liberals or whatever, staunch humanitarians, and they were simply not. They were just hypocrites, just angry people who were just using this event to vent their own frustration, I suppose. So I attacked them pretty strongly, but I also attacked the Muslim haters that came out on that site shortly after. People that were coming out saying bomb Mecca and all this hate-filled, racist crap. See, a year before 9/11, I had spent almost a year in Egypt teaching English, actually. And I had lived in I lived in Egypt for almost a year. Spent about a month and a half in Israel, in Jerusalem, in the Muslim quarter of Jerusalem, working in a Palestinian-owned hostel. I did not care for the people that also came out, along with the hypocritical humanitarians, the right-wing Muslim haters that came out. I also fought against them as well, so it was kind of like fighting this two-front battle against the anti-American hypocrites and the Muslim-hating right-wing fanatics. Eventually, I did go to Japan in, like I said, December 2001, 3 months after the attacks. About 3 months and 3 days after the 9/11 attacks. But I definitely think, 9/11 really did affect me to some degree, because that 3-month period is kind of a blank. I remember just being in confusion, angry, and just wondering if I was going to get called up. Yeah. Then on another note, it's amazing how much Bush has become public enemy number one, when in October 2001 it was Osama bin Laden. That in itself is absolutely amazing, and a testament to the incompetency of the Bush administration. Yeah. And that's all I have to say about that. The rest I'll save for another time.